يسألونك ماذا أحل لهم قل أحل لكم الطيبات وما علمتم من الجوارح مكلبين تعلمونهن مما علمكم الله فكلوا مما أمسكن عليكم واذكروا اسم الله عليه واتقوا الله إن الله سريع الحساب.
They ask you what has been made lawful to them. Say, all clean things have been made lawful to you, and such hunting animals as you teach, training them to hunt, teaching them the knowledge Allah has given you. You may eat what they catch for you, but invoke the name of Allah on it. Have fear of Allah in violating His law. Allah is swift in His reckoning. All clean things have been made lawful to you. There is a certain subtlety in how the query is answered. Religious-minded people often fall into a prohibitionist mentality by tending to regard as unlawful everything not expressly declared as lawful. This makes them excessively fastidious and over-suspicious, and inclined to ask for a complete list of all that is lawful and permitted. The Quran's response to this question seems to be aimed in the first place at the reform of this mentality. The questioners want a list of what is lawful so they can treat everything else as prohibited. But the Quran provides them with a list of what is prohibited and then leaves them with the guiding principle that all clean things are lawful. This means a complete reversal of the old religious outlook according to which everything that has not been declared lawful is considered prohibited. This was a great reform, and it liberated human life from many unnecessary constraints. Henceforth, except for a few prohibitions, the lawful domain embraced virtually everything. The lawfulness of things has been tied, however, to the stipulation of their being clean, so that no one can argue for the lawfulness of things which are unclean. The question which arises at this point is, how are we to determine which things are clean? The answer is that everything is clean apart from those things which can be reckoned unclean either according to any of the principles embodied in the law, or which are repellent to man's innate sense of good taste, or which civilized human beings have generally found offensive to their natural feelings of cleanliness and decency. You may eat what they catch for you. The expression hunting animals signifies hounds, cheetahs, hawks, and all those beasts and birds which men use in hunting. It is a characteristic of animals which have been trained to hunt that they hold the prey for their masters rather than devour it. It is for this reason that while the catch of these trained animals is lawful, that of others is prohibited. There is some disagreement among the jurists as to the hunting animals whose catch is lawful. Some jurists are of the opinion that if the hunting animal, whether bird or beast, eats any part of the game, it becomes prohibited, since the act of eating signifies that the animal hunted for its own sake rather than for the sake of its master. This is the doctrine of Shafi. Other jurists hold that the prey is not rendered unlawful even if the hunting animal has eaten part of the game, even if it has devoured 1/3 of the animal. The consumption of the remaining 2/3 is lawful, irrespective of whether the hunting animal is a bird or a beast. This is the view of Malik. A third group of jurists is of the opinion that if the hunting animal which has eaten part of the game is a beast, it becomes prohibited, but not so if the hunting animal is a bird. The reason for this distinction is that hunting beasts can be trained to hold the game for their master, whereas experience shows that hunting birds are not fully capable of receiving such instruction. This is the opinion of Abu Hanifa and his disciples. Ali, however, is of the opinion that it is unlawful to eat the catch of hunting birds because they cannot be trained to refrain from eating the game and to hold it merely for the sake of their master, but invoke the name of Allah on it. They should pronounce the name of God at the time of dispatching animals to the hunt. It is mentioned in a tradition that Adi bin Hatim asked the Prophet, peace be upon him, whether he could use hounds for hunting. The Prophet, peace be upon him, replied, "If you have pronounced the name of God while dispatching your trained hound, eat what he has caught for you. And if it has eaten from the game, then do not eat, for I fear that the hound had caught the game for itself." Then he inquired what should be done if one had pronounced the name of God while dispatching one's own hound, but later found another hound close to the prey. The Prophet, peace be upon him, replied, "Do not eat that, for you have pronounced the name of God on your own hound, but not on the other one." The verse under discussion makes it clear that it is necessary to pronounce the name of God while dispatching a hound to the hunt. If a man later finds the prey alive, he should slaughter it. But if he does not find it alive, it will still be lawful to eat it, since the name of God has already been pronounced. The same rule applies with regard to shooting arrows in hunting.
اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم والمحصنات من المؤمنات والمحصنات من الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم إذا آتيتموهن أجورهن محصنين غير مسافحين ولا متخذي أخدان ومن يكفر بالإيمان فقد حبط عمله وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين.
This day all good things have been made lawful to you. The food of the people of the book is permitted to you, and your food is permitted to them. And permitted to you are the chaste women, be they either from among the believers or from among those who have received the book before you, provided you become their protectors in wedlock, after paying them their bridal due, rather than go around committing fornication and taking them as secret companions. The work of he who refuses to follow the way of faith will go waste, and he will be among the utter losers in the hereafter. And your food is permitted to them. The food of the people of the book includes the animals slaughtered by them. The rule that our food is lawful to them and theirs lawful to us signifies that there need be no barriers between us and the people of the book regarding food. We may eat with them and they with us. But this general proclamation of permission is preceded by a reiteration of the statement, "All good things have been made lawful to you." This indicates that if the people of the book either do not observe those principles of cleanliness and purity which are considered obligatory by the law, or if their food includes prohibited items, then one should abstain from eating them. If, for instance, they either slaughter an animal without pronouncing the name of God, or if they slaughter it in the name of anyone else but God, it is not lawful for us to eat that animal. Likewise, if intoxicating drinks, the flesh of swine, and any other prohibited thing is found on their dining table, we may not justify our partaking of such items on the ground that the persons concerned are people of the book. The same applies to those non-Muslims who are not people of the book, except for one difference, that whereas the animals slaughtered by the people of the book are lawful, provided they have pronounced the name of God at the time of slaughtering them. We are not permitted to eat the animals killed by non-Muslims who are not people of the book, be they either from among the believers or from among those who have received the book before you. This expression signifies the Jews and the Christians. Of non-Muslim women, Muslims may marry only Christians and Jews, and of them only those who have been characterized as muhsanat, well-protected women. There are differences among jurists as to the detailed application of this rule. The view of Ibn Abbas is that the expression people of the book here signifies only those people of the book who are subjects of the domain of Islam, Dar al-Islam. It is also unlawful to marry Jewish and Christian women who are either living in the domain of war, Dar al-Harb, or in the domain of disbelief, Dar al-Kufr. The Hanafi jurists hold a slightly different opinion. Although they disapprove of marrying such women, it is not considered unlawful. Sa'id bin al-Musayyib and Hassan al-Basri are of the opinion that the verse warrants general application, and hence there is no need to differentiate between those who are Ahle al-Dhimma, the non-Muslim subjects of the Islamic State, and those who are not. There is also disagreement among the jurists about the connotation of the term muhsanat. Umar considered this word to signify only those women who are chaste and possess good moral character. And hence, Ahle al-Kitab, women who are of loose character, are excluded from this permission. This is also the opinion of Hassan al-Basri, Shabi, and Ibrahim al-Nakhai, and the Hanafi jurists. But Shafi considers this expression to have been used as an antonym of slave women, and hence it signifies all those Ahle al-Kitab, women who are not slaves, and he will be among the utter losers in the hereafter. The declaration that marriage to Ahle al-Kitab women is permitted is immediately followed by this warning, which in effect means that those who avail themselves of this permission ought to be mindful of their faith and morals. They are urged to beware of infatuation with disbelieving women, lest they also become enamored of the ideas and beliefs which they cherish, thereby allowing their faith to dissipate. They are warned against adopting social patterns and modes of conduct inconsistent. They are urged to beware of infatuation with disbelieving women, lest they also become enamored of the ideas and beliefs which they cherish, thereby allowing their faith to dissipate. They are warned against adopting social patterns and modes of conduct inconsistent.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين وإن كنتم جنبا فاطهروا وإن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون.
Believers, when you stand up for prayer, wash your faces and your hands up to the elbows, and wipe your hands, and wash your feet up to the ankles. And if you are in the state of ritual impurity, purify yourselves by taking a bath. But if you are either ill, traveling, have satisfied a want of nature, or have had contact with women, and find no water, then have recourse to clean earth and wipe your faces and your hands therewith. Allah does not want to lay any hardship upon you. Rather, He wants to purify you and complete His favors upon you, so that you may give thanks. And wash your feet up to the ankles. The explanation of this injunction by the Prophet, peace be upon him, indicates that washing of the face includes rinsing one's mouth and inhaling water into the nostrils. Unless this is done, the washing of the face is not considered complete. Likewise, since the ears are part of the head, wiping the head includes wiping one's hands over the external and internal parts of the ears as well. Moreover, before starting to wash the other parts, one should first wash one's hands so that the instruments of washing are themselves clean. Purify yourselves by taking a bath. Janaba, the state of major ritual impurity, whether caused by the sexual act or merely by seminal discharge, renders it unlawful to perform the ritual prayer and to touch the Quran, and find no water. Then have recourse to clean earth and wipe your faces and your hands therewith. For explanation, see Surah 4, note 69 to 70 above. Rather, He wants to purify you and complete His favors upon you. Just as purity of the soul is a blessing, so is cleanliness of the body. God's favor to man can be completed only when he has received comprehensive direction in respect of both spiritual purity and physical cleanliness.
واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم وميثاقه الذي واثقكم به إذ قلتم سمعنا وأطعنا واتقوا الله إن الله عليم بذات الصدور.
Remember Allah's favor upon you and His covenant which He made with you when you said, "We have heard and we obey." So do fear Allah. Allah has full knowledge even of that which is hidden in the breasts of people. Remember Allah's favor upon you. The favor mentioned here denotes illuminating the straight way and entrusting to the believers the task of guidance and the leadership of the whole world.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون.
Believers, be upright bearers of witness for Allah, and do not let the enmity of any people move you to deviate from justice. Act justly, that is nearer to God-fearing. And fear Allah. Surely, Allah is well aware of what you do. Believers, be upright bearers of witness for Allah. See Surah 4, note 164 to 5 above.
وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم مغفرة وأجر عظيم.
Allah has promised those who believe and do righteous deeds forgiveness from sins and a great reward.
والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا أولئك أصحاب الجحيم.
As for those who disbelieve and give the lie to our signs, they are destined for the blazing flame.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ هم قوم أن يبسطوا إليكم أيديهم فكف أيديهم عنكم واتقوا الله وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
Believers, remember Allah's favor upon you. When a certain people decided to stretch their hands against you, He restrained their hands from you. Do fear Allah. Men of faith should put their trust in Allah alone. He restrained their hands from you. This alludes to the incident reported by Ibn Abbas when a group of Jews invited the Prophet, peace be upon him, and a number of his close companions to dinner. They had in fact hatched a plot to pounce upon the guests and thus undermine the very foundation of Islam. But by the grace of God, the Prophet, peace be upon him, came to know of the plot at the 11th hour and did not go. Since the following section is addressed to the children of Israel, this incident is alluded to here in order to mark the transition to a new subject. The discourse which begins here has two purposes. The first is to warn the Muslims against following the ways of their predecessors, the people of the book. The Muslims are told, therefore, that the Israelites and the followers of Jesus, peace be upon him, had made a covenant with God in the past, in the manner that the Muslims had recently done so. The Muslims should, therefore, take heed lest they also break their covenant and fall a prey to error and misguidance as their predecessors had done. The second is to sensitize the Jews and Christians to the errors they have committed and invite them to the true religion.